to talk about another thing, just to take it a step further when it comes to the name of the business and the business activity. Okay? So with that being said, my name is Oye. I'm the owner of Upper Echelon Capital Canada in Canada. All right. Because I have US clients that are business owners, and I have Canadian clients that are business owners, right? They both operate by what's called the North American Industry Classification System, also known as NAICS. Okay. So this classification system, it will classify your business based off of your name and description and industry. When you start a business, especially if you want a business, if you plan to obtain any type of business credit, especially if you are starting a Canadian company and it's a startup and you plan to get business credit, you want to make sure that you choose a business that is considered a low risk industry according to the North American Industry Classification System. It governs the US and Canada and Mexico. So if you're in the US, you're in Canada, or you're in Mexico, you want to go ahead and get a business that is considered low risk according to the NAICS. You can go on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT for low risk businesses according to the NAICS. They'll give it to you right there. But let me give you some of my favorites, okay? Because I am a business consultant. We own a consulting company, Upper Echelon Capital. So we work with people and we help people. We literally do setup calls. We take people through the entire thing of starting a new business in the US or Canada, or people who are buying age corporation. That's more of a US thing, not a Canada. For Canada, just to keep everything the main thing. Low risk industries. I'm gonna give you my two favorite ones. So that code begins with 6-1, educational services. Educational services, you can literally say something like, yeah, we're an educational service firm where we educate existing business owners on how to market using social media. That's a low risk industry. You educating them on how to run ads. All right. You provide education on that. That's a low risk industry. All right. So that's something that's tangible, is easy to understand. Lender's going to look at it and be like, okay, this is not going to really need like super high startup costs, or it's not going to need like super high expenses, but I can see where the revenue can be made because they clearly know what you're trying to do, what your business is there to accomplish. And they understand that this is a generally low risk. It's not like investing in the trucking or real estate where it's high expenses and you got to buy equipment or you got to pay people to fix houses. This is a way simpler operation. And when you present that in the hands of lenders, it's going to look really good for you getting the funding that you want to, especially if you're a startup, if you're a small business and you're looking for funding. I'm going to go to another one right here. We're going to go to professional, scientific, and technical services, typically starting in the industry code 54. All right. And it will end with like 4 other digits, right? So any professional, scientific, or technical services like legal services, accounting, architecture, engineering, or consulting, low risk. I generally tell people, look, marketing consulting business or an ad agency, that's one of my go-tos as well. So if you just want to start a small business and you want to obtain funding from the bank, especially Canadian banks or US banks, guess what? You want to definitely do something like marketing, ad agency, business consulting, do something like that. Because I don't care if you plan to use the funds for real estate or trucking, car rentals. I don't really care. It's for the fact of you obtaining initial funding and initial startup funding from the bank, especially in Canada. You want to make sure you have a business that is low risk industry. You want to make sure your description is professional, but to the point, and that you have a business plan, which we're going to talk about later. But that's what you want to make sure that you stay in one of those two industries. So I like the consulting, the marketing, the ad agency. I like education. All right. Stuff like that. So, we went past that. So let me go to the next thing, which is just some other things about incorporating as well, right? That I want to go over because people don't make content on this like this on YouTube about actually setting up a business in Canada. There's really nothing there. All right. So given that our company has expanded into Canada now as of 3 months ago, we just want to make sure that y'all are obviously up to speed. I want to talk about some of the benefits, right? So as a small business owner, you want to incorporate in Canada. I want to talk about the benefits of making a corporation. Corporation in Canada is considered a separate legal entity. So your business that you create, it can file taxes, it can receive income, it can apply for loans, it can get sued or sue other people. And any damages or any claims against the business are claims against the business. They are not claims against the business owner. Let me repeat that. Any claims or liabilities against the business are against the business in Canada. They are not against the business owner. So if somebody sues your LLC, your corporation, they're suing the corporation. They are not coming after your personal belongings. They are coming after the belongings of the corporation. So it is a separate legal entity. Liability is reduced. That's pretty much that, okay? It can protect your personal assets because, once again, your personal assets and your business assets are two different things. Who does a Canadian corporation pay taxes to? You're going to pay a tax to whatever province that you set up your corporation in, all right? Even if it's a federal filing. So let me talk about that. Federal filings versus provincial filings, okay? A federal filing means that your corporation that you set up in Canada, you'll be able to run business and conduct business anywhere in Canada, establish bank accounts or apply for business credit anywhere in Canada, accept shareholders, do meetings, whatever you want to do anywhere in Canada. That's what federal does for you. If you file a provincial filing, that means that you will be doing business only in your specific province of Canada. For example, a lot of our clients are in the Ontario region of Canada because a lot of them are in the Toronto area. So if you file a Ontario provincial filing, you will only be limited to doing business and conducting business in Ontario. You will not be able to conduct business outside of Ontario. To make things easier, especially for all of our Canadian clients, I always tell them to simply do business as a federal corporation. It is $299 to go ahead and do that. You want to just go ahead. It's going to be a lot easier. And then also too, it's going to be easier to have protection for your business name and everything like that. So just do a federal one. I wouldn't even fool with a provincial filing. It just doesn't make sense. And then who you pay your taxes to when you set up your business, whatever business address that you use, whatever province that business address is in, is where you will be doing your taxes for your business. That simple. If I set up in Ontario, if I have a business address in Ontario, that is my corporation's principal address, then that is exactly where I will be paying taxes. I will be using Ontario. The next thing that you want to do is that you want to make sure that you get a professional setup. So for your business, you want to make sure you get a business phone number. You can go on Grasshopper, you can go on Ring Central, go get you a business phone number, okay? You want to go ahead and get a business website. You can go on GoDaddy. There's a few other websites you can go on. Go get you a business website. A lot of these business websites, these sites that you can go on and get a business website, will also offer an email, will also offer, the domain and hosting for the website, okay, for your professional website. And they'll also offer an AI website builder. A lot of website places these days for business websites, where you buy your domain, which is your, whatever it is, .com for your business, they'll have an AI website builder that will build you a website. All you got to do is give it a short description of what your business does. So you can get it done just like that. Business website, email, business phone number. Go ahead and get that set up. It's going to make your business look a lot more legit. So you want to go ahead and do that. You also want to get your business number. So in Canada, they have what's called a BN. That is a Canadian business number. So with this business number that you get, this is basically like your lifeline. This is your tax ID number for your business. This is the number that you'll use when it's time to pay taxes and they want to see like what you gained or what you lost. This is the number that you're going to use when it's time to apply for credit. All right. If you want to apply for any type of business credit products, you will need a BN, all right, a Canadian business number. That is how a lender will identify your company. If you are asking for any type of crowdfunding or any type of outside investor funding, an investor would like to see you have a business number so they can look you up and cross-reference you and see that you are an existing entity doing business in Canada. So a business number really is what establishes your legitimacy within business public record. You want to go ahead and get that business number. So once you get the business number, you have pretty much everything structured in your business. What is the next part? The next part is that you want to go ahead and get funding for your business now. All right. Most companies, most businesses need some type of injection of cash. A lot of you guys, if you're wealthy already and you have money to put into a business, maybe you have a 401k, maybe you have other things. Sure, you can use that. But if you don't want to use your own money or your own capital, there's plenty of lenders that can definitely go ahead and give you capital, especially in Canada. And Upper Echelon Capital, our consulting firm, we help connect business owners to lenders and go ahead and get business funding for you to go ahead and start and scale your business. Start and scale your company. That is part of what we do, not only in the United States, but also in Canada. So you can definitely reach out to us to go ahead and get that done. All right. There will be funding information down below in the description. If you want to get in touch with us, we have agents that can go ahead and set up your corporation with you. They'll hop on a call to literally go through A to Z. Everything I talked about in this video, they'll go ahead and get that set up for you.